Hi gang, Bill McCabe here, and we're just before class time at the Iron Crane Dojo, and I'm going to do a few videos in the future on self-defense in response to some of the contacts I've had from our audience out there. And basically we'll be demonstrating self-defense and some of the ways that we approach it. But one of the things I wanted to emphasize before we even talk about that is that there's a general architecture to self-defense. And many people overlook this when they create a set of self-defense movements for themselves. So what you want to have in self-defense is an understanding of how many types of self-defense there are and what you want to specialize in, or if you want to be versatile in all types of self-defense. There's ground self-defense, there's distance self-defense, there's defense against weapons, and there's defense in close, which is direct contact self-defense. And what we're going to talk about in the first series is direct contact self-defense, where the attacker is making physical contact with your own body, or about to, and all the different ways that you have to be able to respond. Because a lot of people will have 10 or 15 self-defense techniques, and that's it, and they're not addressing all the possibilities. So what I'm going to do here in the first video, which is the introduction video, is just give you a layout of everything you should conceptually be able to do, and then we'll take a look later on at ways that we've solved those problems. If I could borrow somebody, Sensei Chris, perhaps? Okay, so self-defense. I'm just going to go down by sequence the types of attacks that you need to be able to respond to quickly when they happen to you. So somebody approaches you, they grab you. Okay, this is a grab. When you are grabbed, you should be able to do any number of releases, any number of striking self-defenses, any number of breaking self-defenses, and any number of throws. So within our own system, anyone who's a black belt can pretty quickly, if not instantly, do 9 to 15 striking counters to contact to the wrist. Just as quickly, they can do 9 to 15 breaking counters. Breaking techniques are joint locks. And just as quickly, they can do 9 to 15 throws or sweeps. Okay, we're going to demonstrate some of those in follow-ups. Okay, once you have that, a grab to the wrist, next is grab to the sleeve at wrist. This is slightly different than the first grab, but you need to be able to use clothing in your self-defense and twist and grasp around physical objects, such as clothing that you're wearing. After that, after you're done with the wrist and you feel that you've got that thoroughly mastered, you work by slightly varying the equation. You go up the arm, okay, to the arm at the elbow. Same deal. 5 to 15 instantaneous responses, depending on your level of skill. After that, you go to the side of the body. Somebody grabs you to the side of the body. Once again, 5 to 15 responses. Why 5 to 15? If you have 5 responses at your command, you're almost assured of being able to produce the first or second response when you're attacked and under stress. But if all you have is one response to each of these, you'll be looking for it in an emergency, and it may not be there. But when you have a whole alphabet of movement, it will always be there to serve you. Okay, you go from here, you move up the body, grab to the chest. Somebody grabs you at the chest with one hand. Somebody grabs you at the chest with 2 hands. And again, you need to be able to respond to all of these. Somebody grabs you at the chest and threatens you, lifts you up. Somebody grabs you at the chest, inverted hand, like they're pulling you toward them. Somebody grabs your collar. Again, threatening you or about to strike you. Somebody grabs you 2 hands from the front. Somebody grabs your hair from the front. Okay, and I'm going to make a point here. When you first perfect self-defense, you work on one side. But everything that you do on one side over time Once you've learned it on the first side, you carry it over to the second side. So when you master a group of striking counters to the wrist grab on the right side, a group of breaking moves or joint locks, and a group of throws, later on you want to carry that over to the left side. But the trick is to master it on the right side. And what you'll find in your experience is that when you master something on one side, that's 90% of the learning that's required for the other side. In other words, it only takes you 1/5 to 1/10 as long to master on the left side what you've already mastered on the right side. So bear that in mind. Perfect it on the right side and to let it carry over to the left side. If you split your practice both ways, you'll become very inefficient. So you have those front moves. Attacker goes to the rear. Somebody grabs you from behind with one hand. Same deal. Somebody grabs you from behind. Low shoulders. You should be able to react to that instantly and come up with a response. They grab your hair from behind. Grab you at the elbows from behind, either with the sleeves or by the arms. Grab you at the wrist from behind. Sleeves or arms. You need to have responses for each of those possibilities. Get you the headlock from behind, or a choke from behind, or attempt to put you in the full Nelson from behind. Okay, every one of those you need a group of responses for. Okay, from behind, bear hug, body lift from behind. You see what I'm talking about now. It gets really complicated. You have to have a complete sequence of moves for every one of these possibilities. And each one of these can take several months to go through. So when we're talking about putting all these together, we're talking about 4 to 5 years of lots of practice. And this is developing a self-defense style rather than an offensive style. His hands are forward, 2 hands grabbing one hand. Cross hand grabs, choking. Two hands grabbing, 2 hands grabbing, and so forth. When you're able to do all of that with confidence, both sides, and you can get your responses to where you're able to do a minimum of 5 responses to each of those in 1/2 second from the time that someone grabs you. And I'll just ask Sensei Chris, I reach out, I grab him, and he acts. See, it doesn't matter what he does, but he has to have the reaction within 1/2 second, and it has to be generally effective. When you're able to meet that standard for all of these possibilities, then you have a constellation of defense that you can take to the street. A defense against contacts to your body. It's not all the defense that you need, but it's a start. Okay, so thanks for visiting today. Put that outline into your thoughts, and you might want to just write it down for yourself so that you have it in a place where you can look at it. And over time, we'll produce videos on each of these as a separate segment to give you some ideas of how we approach that. Thanks. Have a good day.